The salty sea air filled Port Royal Harbor as Captain Jack Sparrow sailed into town. Except this Jack was different. His walk, steady. His speech, clear. His mind, sharp as a cutlass. The legendary Captain Jack Sparrow had gone through rehab, kicked the rum, and was now the most focused, competent pirate in the Caribbean. And from that moment on, everything changed. The cursed crew of the Black Pearl attacked Port Royal, taking Elizabeth Swan. A clear-headed Jack saw this coming miles away. Instead of getting drunk, getting arrested, and being forced to team up with Will Turner under chaotic circumstances, Jack actually had a plan. He negotiated a ship properly instead of getting thrown into jail. He convinced Will Turner with reason instead of with drunken ramblings. And then he found the Black Pearl in half the time because he wasn't stumbling through random misadventures. When they reached Isle de Muerta, Jack, now a tactical genius instead of a drunken improviser, set traps for Barbossa's crew. With precise planning and some clever legal loopholes, Jack took back command of the Black Pearl without even needing to fight. Barbossa, stunned, just stared. How? Jack smirked. Turns out, mate, when you're not constantly drowning in rum, you can actually read a ship's contract. Barbossa was promptly outmaneuvered and marooned. Jack Sparrow won the first movie in record time. Dead Man's Chest. In another timeline, Jack spends most of this film running from his debt to Davy Jones. But not this time. This sober Jack remembered the details of his deal. He actually read the fine print. Instead of running, he lawyered up. He petitioned the Brethren Court to examine his contract, and he found a loophole. The deal only applied to the original Black Pearl, and since he had technically remodeled it, it was no longer the same ship. When Davy Jones came to collect, Jack had already filed a maritime dispute with Tia Dalma as the judge. Jones was furious, but rules are rules. Instead of running for his life, Jack out-negotiated a sea demon and kept his soul. Smart move, Jones grumbled. You'd have made a fine banker. Jack winked. Aye, but piracy's just a more exciting form of business. In At World's End, instead of accidentally stumbling into leadership, Jack actively campaigned for it. He strategized a naval alliance between the pirate lords. He preemptively sabotaged the East India Trading Company's fleet, forcing Beckett into a corner. He also convinced Elizabeth and Will to follow a carefully laid out plan, rather than relying on random betrayals and nonsense. When the time came for the final battle, Jack had already won. The Brethren Court stood united. The Kraken was neutralized. The East India Company was crushed before they even reached Shipwreck Cove. Jack Sparrow had become the undisputed pirate king. Instead of constantly losing his ship, treasure, and dignity, Jack ran the most powerful pirate fleet the world had ever seen. He invested in fortified hideouts, established trade routes, and even created a pirate stock exchange. With his razor-sharp mind and now functioning liver, Captain Jack Sparrow became the first pirate CEO. And as he stood on the deck of the Black Pearl, watching the horizon, he took a deep breath and he smiled. Who knew being sober could be so bloody profitable? Enjoyed this wild twist on reality? What happens next? Should this story continue? Or do you have another crazy what-if scenario in mind? Comment below with your ideas, smash that like button if you want more, and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss a new reality shift. This has been Canon Chaos. where anything can happen. We'll see you in the next timeline.